In this lesson, I'm going to talk about the smart objects. Okay, you're going to see two images in this document, and they look completely identical. However, if we go to our layers palette, you can see that one, we have a different icon for its preview. Now, this one, the lander, the one I have labeled lander, is a rasterized image, and the one below it, the object, the image right next to it, is the same image but in a smart object. Now, when you resize something in Photoshop, if I select it with my auto select on, and I transform this, Command T to bring up your transform, you're going to notice that we have a height of 100% and width at 100%. So when I scale this image down, something to this amount here, and then we'll go to our other layer, the smart object, and we'll do the same thing, transform. You're going to see that we have 100%, and we transform this down to about the same size. Now, however, if we go to our other object, the lander without the smart object, and we go to transform, you can see it stays at 100%. It doesn't retain the information that it originally had in the opening of this video. So if I transform this back again to its original size, and then we transform our smart object, Command T for transform, we'll transform this, but you'll notice that at the width and the height, it stays 45% of its original document, of its original size, excuse me. So I'm going to resize this and bring it to 100%. And I could do that by just typing 100%. And then we'll just hit return on our keyboard. And now we have our two images. The difference is that if you look at this image, it doesn't retain the same quality. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and you can see how it has lost a lot of its quality. It lost its pixel information because I resized it back and forth. But with a smart object, it will retain that pixel information, and you'll keep that sharp quality of the image. So this is very useful when you're bringing in a photo and you have to manipulate it. You have to move it around and resize it. But a lot of times it's not exact. You may have to resize it up and back again in order to get it into the layout that you want. So it's very useful to have a photo brought in as a smart object. So what I want to show you next is the way that you would make a smart object that is already just a raster image. And so what I'll do is I'll create a new layer, and I'll go to my rectangle marquee tool, and I'm going to hold down shift and just make a square. And I'll choose a different color, something like orange or something. And then I'll fill this with my Option Delete key, keyboard command, and that will fill this rectangle, this square, with the foreground color. So what you can then do is right click on your layer and come down here where it says Convert to Smart Object. So now you can see that this icon has changed to the smart object, similar to the other one that I had. So now I can transform this image, this square, and not worry about losing any of its quality. Now, I do want to just warn you about this you can't, if you resize it any further than 100%, then it won't keep the same pixel information. Adobe Photoshop is going to have to put in that pixel information, and you'll lose a little bit of quality. So keep that in mind when using any type of smart object. So your original size has to stay the same, or it can't go any further than that, any larger than that, or you will lose quality to that image. Okay, great. So we're now able to keep this at a good size, and I'm just going to put in 100% and then return. And now if I zoom into this edge, you can see it keeps this nice crisp edge. Otherwise, if I just had a rectangle and I just filled this and went to a new layer, Option delete, make sure I'm on a new layer. And without a smart object, and I resize this, and then bring this back up again, you can see, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see the quality of the edge loses its sharpness compared to our other object, which is perfect. And here we lose that pixel information. So I just want to explain that a little bit better. As you resize an image that does not have a smart object, you will lose quality.